You're running full speed, but the markets are faster. Quasar Markets Live brings the world's top financial minds to you. Everything you need to know in one place. Learn from elite educators and gain a competitive edge, leveling the playing field for you. Join the conversation. Quasar Markets Live.
Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. I hope everyone had a great weekend. Howard back with your market update, your pre-market news prep, whatever you want to call it here. Markets are having a heck of a start to the day, quite honestly. NASDAQ here through the Qs is right now up about 87 basis points, erasing more than half of Friday's losses right now. And also the S&P up about the same 88 basis points, again, erasing more than half of its losses. And similar situation with the Dow, up about 82 basis points also so far. So the markets, have they repriced everything? Are they saying, they think that this war or conflict is coming to an end? We'll find out over the next, upcoming few hours as to what's happening, but it does seem like people, the markets did not start off really well last night on the, open. If we look here at the NASDAQ through the futures, it gapped down yesterday and then it, has bounced back since. So that's really a difference. Sunday, we basically bottomed out here around 8 p.m. and we've been climbing up steadily since. So it's been a nice recovery. As I said, NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow all moving up together. And we have seen the VIX come off of its highs again when it opened up. It was above 30, got as high, here as of, I'm trying to see here, got as high as it looks like 31, 32 today, and has pulled back down a couple of percentage points from there. So that helps. And then rates are starting to come down nicely here. Also today, we see the 2-year, the 10-year, and the 30 all down. The 10-year, the one that's down 1.36%, back below 4.4. So there you go. There's a little bit of what's leading maybe to the risk on aspect is rates are, moving to the downside. Dollar is pretty steady through the DXY, not really, it's towards the upper end at that 130 cent area. And gold and silver seeing a little bit of a bounce back also here over the last several hours. Now trading gold back up at 45.72 and silver back at 71.50. And crypto catching a little bit of a bid the last several hours also, although it first dropped down over the weekend, getting as low as just below 65K on Bitcoin before bouncing back up. Ethereum also bouncing back up nicely. I will point out these are, though, very much perpetual future-led squeezes, not really any spot volume yet to back up those moves. So just want to point that out so far. But hey, we'll take it so far and go from there. And oil is, on the president's news here this morning, I guess, that, negotiations are going well, that they are going to let more oil through the Straits of Hormuz. Has Brent back down at 106.46. It had broken above 108.50 earlier today. And then WTI, same type of situation, broke above 100, in fact, above 150. Before pulling back down to that 98 level. So listen, it seems like the market is believing what they hear a little bit. We'll find out. It did jump after the president. 1 minute things are going well. The next minute we're going to take all the oil in Iran. The next minute it's going well. The next minute we are going to blow up Karg Island. So we'll see what happens here today as it keeps on going. And, we'll see from there if anything else sort of kicks in from that. But that's what we're seeing so far when it comes to the overall market overseas. So far, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. The Kospi in South Korea is down, but up off of the lows of the day. The Nikkei is positive for the day, and its recovery has sort of mirrored what we've seen across the U.S. equities. Hong Kong is still down, but again, off of their lows, more trading like the Kospi. And Europe has moved into the positive also, up almost 70 basis points here so far today. Then if we start to look through the sectors of the S&P next, you see that today all of the different sectors are green so far. Energy, which has been the leader over the last several sessions, up 1.69% on Friday, now up more than 1% again here this morning. Utilities that were up on Friday, also a little more than a half a percentage point, are up another 70 basis points here. So we're seeing about a 1.5% move there in the last two trading periods. And consumer staples up 80 basis points, up another half a percentage point here this morning. So those are the ones that are continuing to show strength, ones that now are looking to make moves back to the upside or showing the most strength so far today. Outside of that would be the material sector, up about 1.08%. And then the other sector up more than 1 percentage point so far is technology. So pretty widespread, like I said, it's a broad-based move to the upside. And that can really be seen through the advanced decline, which has us at a positive 27.32 so far here this morning. On that, showing again, most of the sectors of the S&P are moving to the upside together, and our tick's been pretty positive most of the morning again. So we are seeing a positive start to the day. Copper also moving to the upside also, so most commodities are. And if you look across most of the major companies I kind of track here on this Quasar watch list, man, the only things in the negative is that's Smuckers, right? Yep. Smuckers is down slightly, about a quarter of a percentage point. Turns Pharmaceutical is down slightly. Otherwise, everything else that I cover here from all the different sectors are up. From companies like Apple up a quarter percentage, Affirm, the pay now or buy now, pay later company up almost a full percentage. Chip companies are moving. NVIDIA was leading the way there, up about 1 percentage point. Let's take a look at my chips watch list here. And we do see again the entire chip sector is in the green so far. And it looks like Micron, who we know was beat up pretty badly last week, is having a nice bounce back today, trying to recover again, trying to erase Friday's losses. This is one that's been trading as high as 471, back down to 357, and you can see it was a pretty sharp decrease since its earnings report that came out on March 18th and has been pulling back since. Nice little jump to the upside there. That has some of the other names moving too. AMD showing some strong strength, almost up 2% here. Also, Intel up 1.47%. Lam Research up about 1.62%. So semis in general seem to be having a very good day overall. Crypto adjacent names are having a strong day with Bitcoin re-challenging 68K here. We do see a bounce back by most of those names. So watch for some strength throughout the day today in crypto adjacent names. Right now, biggest gainers seem to be CleanSpark up about 3.46%. Circle's up almost 4%. They got hit really hard last week. Bitmine Aversion up about 4.51%. SharpLink up about 3.8%. And I'm looking for, where is my favorite? There it is. MSTR up about 2.67%. So again, pretty much across the board seeing strength there. Take a look through the Mag 7, and they are all also in the green. Man, NVIDIA back still down at 169.12. Dropped below its 200-day moving average. Tried to re-challenge it a couple of times. What do you call it? Couple of times last week, unable to break back through it. Let's see if it makes a move back up to that area today. In fact, I can put what that is on here. We should have that. So as you can see right now, that's at about 179. So if NVIDIA sees strength, breaks through this 171 area, it does look like it would try to make a move back up towards that 176 and maybe challenge that 200-day simple moving average. Apple right now trading at 249.53. As we can see, this one's using the 200-day simple moving average as some solid support. I'm sorry, I got to turn this a different color. My 200-day is always yellow, so it's just confusing my look there. But that one has used it as support here nicely back last on Friday, the 20th of March, and then again here on Friday. So let's see if that can hold. If Apple doesn't hold that 200-day, that is, sort of the key spot here. If it doesn't, look for a fall back towards that 243 area. Any drop below that really does open up back towards that 235, 236 area. So Apple does need to see this move, and you'd really want to see it get back above 255 to feel that it's leaving that 200-day moving average a little bit in the past. So that's what we're looking at so far there. Other stocks that are moving so far this morning, as I mentioned, NVIDIA is up 1%. This was after they said that they are partnering with the French artificial intelligence startup Mistral, raised $830 million to fund a data center powered by 13,800 of the company's NVIDIA's Blackwell GPUs. Another sector to definitely keep an eye on today is aluminum. If you didn't hear over the weekend, Iran did attack a couple of aluminum plants in the Middle East, and that has really pushed up these prices. So Alcoa up about 10.84% so far today on that news. Other names to keep an eye on. that seem to be taking a same type of move. SGML, Sigma Lithium up really big today on that news, although they also have earnings coming in tomorrow. CENX, which is Century Aluminum, they're also up about 13% on that news. So those are going really well. Eli Lilly was ticking to the upside slightly, up almost a percentage point here. This was, as they said, they partnered with Insilico Medicine, a AI-driven biotech company. They signed a drug discovery deal with them, and those shares, Insilico's Hong Kong listed shares, are up about 2.6%. One that has me very interested, Cisco, the big food supplier, the largest food supplier out there, SYY. They are purchased Jethro, which is Restaurant Depot, for about $29 billion, including debt. It's an interesting one because it moves Cisco. Cisco is the largest food distribution company in the US. They supply many of the restaurants you go to, from the finest dining to the little mom and pops. And they also do a lot in healthcare and hospitals, things like that. One place where they had absolutely no exposure is what we call the cash and carry business. Smaller restaurants, bodegas, things like that, go to restaurant depots throughout the US and pick up their goods there, because they get them at a discount of about 10 to 15% usually from what Cisco charges, because they're not delivered. There is no sales reps. They only carry a smaller selection, but it is a huge, huge business, and it adds. I saw the CEO on CNBC today, and what it does is adds a lot of cash revenue at a higher actual margin than they are used to working at. So really good for Cisco. I'll be interested to see if they change Restaurant Depot's sort of style, and they'll change the brands for sure. But it will be interesting to see how that does play out. Other names to keep an eye on: CrowdStrike is up this morning, up about 2.66%. This was after they got an analyst upgrade. I believe it was from Wolf Research, with a $450 price target. So they are trading at about 380 here. I also saw that Palo Alto is up about 3% also. This was after the CEO purchased about 10 million worth of company stock in the range between 146 and 148. So that was taken as a bullish signal so far from the market, and it does have that stock moving to the upside nicely. Also, another one that I keep an eye on is Leidos, what we call one of the Beltway bandits. LDOS, they're up about 1%. They were up a little bit higher earlier today. This is after they announced an acquisition of Entrust Solutions Group for roughly $2.4 billion. The transaction effectively doubles their presence in the energy infrastructure market. So good move for Leidos. Also, those are the ones that are moving so far this morning the most. Just taking a quick look through everything here. Nothing else really hitting. I will say you do have to keep an eye today. Our good friend, the purple tie wearing Jerome Powell, will be speaking this morning, I believe, at 10:30 at a conference. So you will get a little bit of Fed speak out of him today. White House will have announcements all day. Good news is you won't have the steady lineup of senators and congresspeople on, as most of them took their vacation and are gone for the holiday. Others in the Mag 7, like I said, moving up today. Amazon up about 1.16%. Did see an article this weekend that was interesting about their really sort of an unheralded part of the business that they're working on, or a little under the radar part of the business, is their rural delivery. They're really trying to compete with Walmart. I have noticed where I am in Ohio, there is a lot more of a selection of things available same day or next day compared to what there used to be. And they were talking about how they even expanded this into very, very rural areas where they're using other businesses as drop sites. They brought up a smoothie restaurant, basically, that, half the day it's a smoothie restaurant, half the day it operates as a distribution point for Amazon's packages. So rather interesting, and something that doesn't get all of the fanfare maybe that you see to the AWS section, to the AI section. But, keep in mind, they are one of the biggest retailers out there and competing with the world's largest retailer, Walmart. Could be an interesting one to watch, one I'll be keeping an eye on for sure. Meta, nice little bounce back here, up about 1.4% also. And Tesla also up about 1% this morning. Other names to keep an eye on: Avis, CAR, down about 7% today. That was after they announced that they're raising money, so that definitely doesn't make the markets happy usually, and it isn't in this case. They're going to have to raise some money, and they're definitely seeing just the chaos at the airlines affect them very much so far. Another one I forgot about, Expedia. So even with how beat up we've seen airlines and travel, they just got an upgrade from Jefferies, up about 2.63% on that news. So, that had been one of the areas definitely beaten up, both number one by the conflict, number two by AI disruption fears. So seeing them move to the upside today could be good. Let's take one last look before we bring BigBeat in and check what's going on across the indices. Again, the NASDAQ so far set to open up about 85 basis points. Been trading about in that range for the last hour and a half. Same thing with the S&P and the Dow. So all of them rising up together at about the same rate at about the same time. Volatility index through the VIX has just broken back below 30. It had gotten as high as 31, 32. So it does seem like some of that premium traders were paying to hedge with volatility is decreasing. Rates seem to be the big mover this morning. They are down. The 2-year down about 1.5%, 10-year down 1.36%. And the 30-year down almost a full percentage point. That to me is the story of what has markets, or at least risk on, moving up today. We do see gold moving back to the upside at 45.69 towards highs of the morning. Same thing with silver at 71.30, up about 2.5%. Oil is down from highs of the day. WTI had broken back above 100. Now back below 97, and we do see it dropping as I speak. And Brent, which had broken again, up above 108.50, back down below 106. So it does seem like those things are cooling off. Bitcoin continuing to push towards the upside on this squeeze, also up about 3% today. Ethereum even up a little bit more. Okay, it's 9 a.m. Let's get him in here and find out what he's watching this morning. Here comes our main man, BigBeat.
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, BigBeat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
BigBeat, how are you doing? How was your trip to St. Louis, my friend?
Good morning, Howard. Yeah, look, one of the things about watching the markets and seeing it from the Midwest perspective is they don't really care, right? I mean, they don't really see the markets like we do on the East Coast because there's a time difference and sometimes there's more things going on. And when you have a baseball weekend, that's one of those things they had going on. And sports. You had March Madness, of course. My Illini won as well, and you see all of that going on. Yeah, thank you. We see all that going on, and they're not really tuned into everything going on. And it was interesting to see it from that perspective. We are so locked in, right? We want to know everything going on, and they don't care, right? It's not that in a way that, oh well, we don't see it the way that you see it, is that we have other things going on. Right, and that's kind of what's happening right now. You're seeing that from the market perspective. When I was looking at a few things over the weekend, I bought a new computer, right, and it's a dual. I have dual NVIDIA chipsets inside the new machine, right?
Nice.
Yeah, 216 gigs. Wow. So why? Because of AI, right? But you ask people in the Midwest about AI, and they might have an AI on their phone. They may be seeing something on an ad, but they're not using it the way that we kind of expect that, right? But what I saw over the weekend was that people want to understand. They're curious, right? And then I think that's kind of the key to it.
Well, and I'd say they use it differently because, again, as I was talking to people this weekend, and I went to, unfortunately, watch my Red Sox lose to the Cincinnati Reds.
Thank you.
But I did go and talking to farmers, the use of GPS and AI within their actual machines these days is amazing. What they were explaining to me about how much more they can till per day, and the ease of it and stuff, and the use of computers and AI to help them guide watering and things. A lot of that's been being provided by the companies like Conagra, the ones that we kind of make fun of a lot. But they are progressing.
That's the whole point, right? That they're relying on the companies that they buy from, the vendors, right? But they themselves are not really diving deep into the AI.
Yeah, they don't have Copilot or Gemini or ChatGPT, and they're not
driving a tractor down the road with their AI going on, right?
And to them, they don't know it's AI. GPS is to them, but then when you explain to get it to do the things that it's doing, and then when they explain it, they're like, yeah, but it's taking samples of the water and the soil, and it's doing this. Like, that's AI, buddy. That's called Internet of Things, IoT.
Right?
That's right. Big Beat, you think this rally has any legs to it today?
I hope so, because I bought heavily on Friday on the sell-off. I thought the sell-off was dumb. It's interesting. My ear was to the ground. I heard a lot of comments saying, oh, the world's falling apart. It's over. It's done. That's when I get excited. I don't get excited when people are so super excited about the markets and everything's great and life is good. That's when you need to take the money off, right? We always talk about that as a perspective here that, be the ticker taker, right? Always be the ticker taker. Keep that in the back of your mind. Be the ticker taker. And, I've explained it a billion times, so I don't do that right here. But I was a ticker taker on Friday, and as the markets were just selling off, I was buying. I bought Royal Caribbean on this dip. Thank you. I bought NVIDIA. Why? Because I don't have one chipset now on my computer. I've got dual cards in it now, right? And I just heard when I bought the machine, good time to buy now, because in a month from now you won't be able to. Why? Because SpaceX just bought 1,000 NVIDIA cards, right? They're not stopping. Elon Musk said I can't buy enough, right? Well, who's gonna? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna be out if you don't get these. I'm trying to prepare myself for the future, because if there really is this chip problem, they've got chips made, but it's going to be the future of it, right? And NVIDIA's gonna be like, okay, great, I'm gonna take advantage of this. I'll raise the margins on it too, and people will pay it. My God, what I paid 3 years ago to what I paid now. Whew.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's for sure. And that it isn't going to go down. Others
No.
might think it's, there. Plus, it's just, I noticed the tariff stuff as I was looking at some things this weekend. And it was just weird stuff that I was looking at on Amazon, and the incredible increase on products that are built in Europe and stuff right now it's crazy. You're seeing that. You're now seeing it in the prices, that 100% increase on some of these things, like an espresso machine or something crazy like that.
It blows my mind how people think that tariffs are not going to affect your costs. I mean, go to the grocery store, spend 5 minutes at the grocery store.
Yeah, this was one of those ones that's a good channel check, and it was easy to see. I watched a video. I was looking maybe to buy, the wife wants a new coffee machine, so I was looking at it, and I did some research, and I went to a guy on YouTube that's really good and reviews them, and he did a review like 6 months ago. The machines from Italy are at least 50% higher in price already.
Crazy
from what the prices he was quoting. So it showed right there. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's everything that I was like, okay, $2.99 I like is now $4.99.
And the president says that it's not going to affect us. It's affecting us in a way that we have not been able to see. And of course, sales
I
are
can
down.
tell you from the farmers, get ready for beef prices that are going to be bad.
Yeah.
They're going to be bad here. That's the other part is beef and cattle. If you're not buying it by the side, you're making a mistake right now. Find your local farmer, make friends, and buy it from them, because
but the local farmer is even telling you no, because his costs are going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to make friends. Get in there now because they're not going to. Yeah, because they're going to shut down their list. You think you're joking, but again, they don't want to increase heads. They'll increase heads a little bit, those guys, because if they can get a pre-order. In other words, if they get your money and they know they have it sold, but there's too much uncertainty for everything else. So that's definitely going to be a big part of it. BigBeat, crypto, nice day today. But I'm going to warn you before you ask me, this is all short squeeze. There's no spot volume behind it right now. That's going to make this stay. And even worse so, Bitcoin miners are no longer holding Bitcoin. And so they don't have much faith. They're saying, I can make more money in the AI business, and I better buy. They're listening to you. They're saying, I better buy those GPUs now. And they're, now you have BitDeer is not holding any Bitcoin anymore. Mara's selling off its Bitcoin. So you're seeing the miners are going to distribute. ETF inflows have not been great. And this is all squeeze led. So sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I could care less. I mean, I sold my trading Bitcoin at 72. Everybody knows that here. I will never sell my main stuff, right? My main Bitcoin. I will never do that. That's always going to stay the same. But I did sell off my Bitcoin that I bought, took some profit and used and played with it a little bit. Had some fun over the weekend, spent some money. I enjoyed that, right? I bought a weather pad, right? But I think that I honestly think this is going to be one of those summers that people just are not happy. They're going to be happy. I just saw a few minutes ago that Israel is lowering the age to join the military, and I'm not making this, folks, 12 years old.
Yeah, the war is no good for anybody. I do hope that there is a quick end, but I don't see how that quick end comes.
Well, I mean, it's wag a dog, right? This is purely simple what it is. But you look at, Iran is not backing down. The president said now we're going after Cuba, and he allowed, one Russian oil tanker that was supposed to be sanctioned into Cuba. I don't understand this administration. I don't think they get it either. They're literally willy-nillying this all the way through, and it's really hurting them, right? 32% approval rating this morning, lowest since Nixon. This is really bad. The No Kings protest, regardless of what you think of the No Kings protest, I heard
there are people again. Yeah, it's not whether I like it or agree with it. It's a matter of the people are going.
They're pissed. And I heard the word thugs. I heard people call them thugs. I've heard people call them the degenerates. Guess what? That's how America was built, right? America was built on degenerates. If you look at I get a chance to watch it again. Ken Burns is how America. Of course I have degrees in all this, but you look back and I go, how was America started? it was literally by farmers that are pissed off. I mean, people that were voting for Trump are no longer happy. The MAGA kids are pissed off. They're joining them,
especially the younger generation for sure.
They're all saying, we voted for him. Well, okay, but now we as investors have to understand how to our portfolio. We got to manage that, right? We got to be the tickers again. And I believe in the taco trade. It's working great, nicely for us, and I'm gonna stick with that, right? The president says something stupid, I run against it, right? Okay, great. I'll buy that because I know that Royal Caribbean is not going to go away. People are so unhappy. They're so unhappy they're going to buy cruises.
Absolutely.
They're so unhappy they're going to buy NVIDIA chipsets so they can have a faster machine, so they can have AI and escape reality. Right? It's exactly what's happening, and it's not like I'm making this up or just run the numbers. I will say this much, Howard. Over the weekend, I did get a chance in the plane and a few times. I am done something I haven't done in a long time, and I'm excited to talk about this. Is I've gotten back to my biotech side of me, and I have a list of biotechs that I'm gonna be bringing to Quasar Markets.
I love it.
Yeah, if you don't know me, we usually get 400 to 500% winners on biotechs. That's what I grew up in doing. I'm son of a pharmacist, world-class pharmacist, and it's what I love the most. And we're gonna get back to that. So I'm very excited about that side of me and what we have going on. And the FDA has been pretty much approving a lot of things, so it's been good. But if you're in the vaccine world, it's not been so good. We see a pop.
Not good in vaccine and not good at actual. They've been good at fast tracking stuff, not so much the approval side. So there's been great pumpers on the news of stuff, but not many getting.
But politically, Maha has not been popular, and so politically, RFK might not last to be the head there. So this could be a change of pace too as well, and I want to be prepared for that as well, and I am actually.
I love it. I love it. What else are you watching here so far today, Steve?
Honestly, I'm sitting on my hands a little bit. As like I said this earlier, I bought NVIDIA, I bought Royal Caribbean, I did all those things that I wanted to do, and I'm gonna sit on my hands. I don't, politically, I don't care either way, but I'm gonna, my thesis here was the same thesis that people are unhappy. I mean, people are happy, Howard. When I say unhappy, they're not unhappy. I mean, I heard people in St. Louis were just like, they didn't care what political side you were on, right wing or left wing. They were pissed. I mean, people are not happy with the president. They're not happy with the Democrats. They're not happy with the governor. They're not happy with the mayor. They're not happy with the lawnmower man. Right?
Yeah.
They're not happy. Right? And
I see a lot of that. There is a lot. There is. It is. And that is too bad. It is that. There is a lot of that. That's why it's good to get away, like you said, over the weekend, go see a baseball game. I sat next to some funny old ladies. They were hysterical. They kept on hiding behind me anytime we were behind home plate. Some of your favorite seats there in the what they call the Champions Club there, and that would come over. We were in that first balcony. It would come right over the top and come right at us. Took a lady out in stitches that sat behind us.
Oh, geez.
So a little dangerous, but but people were having fun. They wanted to relax. So, like you said, that thesis of RCL, of Norwegian, of Disney, keep an eye on some of that stuff. Again, what I've noticed it's spring break week for the kiddies, and all of Ella's little friends are traveling down to your area. So get out of the way, Steve. Watch out. There's a whole bunch
I'm going to New York.
A whole bunch of 5-year-olds coming your way. So
I'm going to New York.
But yeah, that is the case. Also that I saw. So it is, people do want to at least get back to that, travel a little bit, feel the ground under their feet, enjoy themselves. So that does seem to be happening. Mag 7's playing nicely so far. Everything in the green. Anything one versus the other you're watching today, Steve, or anything?
Not right now. I'm really not. I'm really doing what I'm saying I'm doing. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled right now.
Okay. Play what happened. Let it come to you first.
Let it come to me. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep my eye here on some. we got going on here? I mean, Howard, it seems that I saw where Twitter is asking you if you have a tweet deck that you now have to go pro and you got to pay up
$40. Oh yeah, I meant to talk to you about that. I am not happy with that one.
Yeah,
Not happy at all. I haven't put in the $40 yet. I haven't made up my mind.
I did it. I'll tell you, man. Elon Musk might literally be. I mean, he's not well liked right now. I can tell you that much.
This one, and I haven't found a. I've been looking for a way around it. BigBeat, if you find one, let me know. I haven't found a good service that sort of gets it to you the way you need it. Nothing competes, and I've noticed the difference in trying to figure out what the heck the news is. So I am probably going to cave myself this week and have to get that. So
yeah,
BigBeat, I'm going to let you take over the screen here. It is time for me to take off.
Yeah, and there's a lot of changes in the next too, I'll tell you, and not for the best. I mean, credit card changes, and I mean, it's really weird. It's really, and we call it slamming, right? It just slammed you with it. You have to do it. You don't have a choice if you want to continue with it. And I think it's really going to hurt Twitter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, it got me angry. I was not happy at all. So, well, BigBeat, with that, I'm going to let you take off and let you take control here. Have a great trading day, my friend.
All right, let's get to it. I know people are asking me about some of the charts that I'm watching, but to be honest with you, folks, as I said to Howard earlier, I'm really keeping my eye tight, and I'm not really doing a whole lot. I know that people are we got to figure something out. Charts. Okay, well, I'll pull charts up for you, but I'll also tell you that I don't feel, man. You're noticing a lot of sales going on too. That should tell you a lot, right? How bad the economy is. And I can tell you, I saw it firsthand in a lot of places. The economy is not good, folks, and it's getting worse. And I think the president needs to acknowledge that. If we don't acknowledge that very quickly, get back to basics, and because it could be really bad situation very fast. And I know people are going to say, but people are unhappy, and we got to take advantage of what we see out there. And I think you just heard from Howard talking about it. There's CoreWeave. I'm pretty heavy CoreWeave. I'm pretty heavy RCL, CRISPR, and NVIDIA. These are the stocks that I am very CoreWeave. Obviously, most of you know I went pretty heavy again on CoreWeave. So but I don't really see anything here that I think we should be trading. You can go, this stock's up way up, and this stock's well, guess what? WTI crude at 101. 101.65 right now. That's not good. That's a really bad place for oil to be. And now we're hearing explosions reported at U.S. bases in Saudi Arabia. This is every bit of this is not good. And I'm not trying to spread negativity. That's not what I want to do. We need to, as a company and as investors and as people and making decisions on what we're buying, we need to understand what we're buying, right? You can't, that's it, right? And we need to make sure that we're paying attention to that. And right now, you can say, charts, but let me just show you what I mean by that. Here's a 1 hour chart on CoreWeave, right? Now, this chart here tells me that this is a buy, right? But if AI is a mess with news, then we might not see it. So I saw this 7% sell off. When I bought it, it was down 11%, right, on Friday. But I saw this. It was a buying opportunity, right? There's the 1 hour charts. And I did that on Friday. I took advantage of that. And of course, it turned around. Same situation, NVIDIA dropping was heavy, but we've got some serious problems going on. And, if you look at the Mag 7, Mag 7 is literally the most sold it's been in since 2022 in 4 years. So comparative to the PE ratios and price of sales. So, right now, charts ain't telling you, look at the charts, so I got to buy Apple. It is to me on the 1 hour, but on the daily chart, ouch, not there. It could see some more selling. That's the Mag 7. And I bought some Apple products, right? And you can see that we've got some serious issues here. And you look at the 52-week range of 288. There could be some selling here. 10% sell off would be $20, right? $25, and we've seen more than that now. So 10%, 20%. Like this is a rough sell-off here. And if you look at a weekly chart, that's what we're seeing, right? We are seeing the choppiness index slowing down, so it could be where it's at. Again, not a daily trading area time frame, right? This is actually where you take advantage of the buying and you dip your toe in, as Steve Flanagan tells you. So that's what I've seen in this market, that I've dipped my toes in and I'm taking advantage of the selling. So that's what I have done. Yeah. If you have any questions out there, let me know. Yeah. All right, we got about 8 minutes now into the open here, and yeah. Flip the 1 hour chart here on Apple. Looking a little bit at Oracle here too as well. Oracle, that was a darling here about everybody's screaming about how great Oracle was, and I said no. And now about to make new lows again. So not a happy camper there. Bitcoin now 68,000 here as we're getting closer and closer to the cash open here in the markets. I am looking at this right now. I'm looking at Palantir here, folks. I kind of like him. The Palantir selling off here over the last few days is, if you're looking at the charts from a daily chart perspective, maybe, but this 1 hour chart here is looking nice. Let's move it to a 3-minute chart here, so we know why that's what Wall Street uses. This is turning a little bit here. You can see all of the numbers here. Now I get it that the choppiness is a little high here on the 3 minutes, but I'm liking this here a little bit. Palantir is looking like a nice little purchase here, possibly. We know that the government's getting get them all the contracts. That was that big buy opportunity, back in the early part of March. Dollar yen now 159.36 here. So if you're watching me right now, you're wondering, why am I being so quiet? I've got some things on the radar here that are just interesting here. We looked at Unity Software the other day, up 13% there on Friday, and I talked about this one here, that this is a one that's got a big gap here as well. Looking at charts, I do like this. Look at that. That's interesting right there. Did not get to it and got sold off there at 21 1/4 there. 20.33 in this morning, early trade. But they raised their guidance a couple of days ago, back on Friday. So that to me told me everything. And people are playing games. We've been talking about this unhappiness, right? People are not happy, and because they're not happy, they're turning to things that make them happy. And what is it? What are the costs, and what do those things happen? So this is very interesting. Yeah. 10-year now, 4.352%. Palo Alto Networks up 3.5% here in the early trade. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're seeing the CEO now buying shares as well. Buybacks could be the thing that could tell you when companies don't know what to do with their money, right? They look to do other things. And the thing that you don't want to see is buying their own stock. That means there's nothing else to buy. They don't know to invest in. So this is not a good thing. Right. I agree with that. Good morning, Zora. I see, how are you? Good morning. Nothing makes sense. That's right. And when things don't make sense, I do what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you, nothing making sense to me, right? Look, can I bluff our way through this and say things are good and that's okay? We there's a market everywhere, as some people say on some channels. It's not the way that it really is, folks. You really sometimes got to take a step back and as traders, I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, I get that there's a market somewhere, but you don't have to go do that, right? You don't have to go knocking down trees and forests to find that one little needle in the haystack. And in this case, people are nervous, people are scared, and when people are scared, I don't like that kind of money. Scared money doesn't make money. There it goes. Yeah, see, like I said, here comes Nvidia right into the open, and I'll pull up the 5-second chart here. There you go. Yeah, look at the selling right there. I mean, it's just dumping right there. Dropped up a buck right before the open, right? Because people don't know what to do. They're scared. They really don't know. Oh well, I got to take this profit because I've been in this 5 seconds. Well, it's not investing, folks. And then that's what happens, right? And we're now seeing right now. When I did my interviews not too long ago about the overall health of the retail market, about 80% was losing money. We're now at 88% of retailers are now losing money. That's high. I mean, that's just outrageous, and it shouldn't be that way. It's a gambling aspect of things. We need to get back to investing, and or a lot of these companies that are helping retail are going to be in trouble. They're going to be losing their behinds, and they'll be out of a company pretty soon. Yeah. All right, 169 now. Nvidia. I am watching Nvidia as I am long Nvidia here. Royal Caribbean up 1.5%. Took advantage of that selling on Friday. That was just nuts. Anything under 265 to me is a buy in Royal Caribbean. We don't talk about what to buy or sell here, but that's what I was doing. So I liked it down there. Core Reeb obviously up about 1% here too as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's not about complaining. I don't really complain. Life's good for me, right? But I want to make sure everybody else is in a good shape. And right now, 88% of retail now are lost money. Just don't believe the nonsense you see on social media. Don't believe it. Oh, my Claude bot made me $100,000. Just put it in Claude bot, and the claw is going to work, and it's going to make you so much money, and this is what you're going to do. And you watch this show, and you're going to. It's just stupid. Stupid. Don't do that. I mean, you're intelligent people out there. A lot of smart people. So here we go. We're now open. Nvidia right there. See Nvidia on the open. Why is it selling off? Because that's retail that couldn't get out, right? That's retail stuck in a trade. So be careful, folks. And I like that. I mean, this is where I take advantage of it, right? And that's unfortunate, but that's what you have to do sometimes. And I don't like it, but it is the world that we live in, right? It is the world that we live in, and I have to trade and I have to invest based on what I think is best for the portfolio and to create. And I look for those little opportunities, and this is the opportunity. Guess what I'm going to do on Nvidia, right? 167 just dropped off, right? Why is that? Yeah, that's because retail can't get out in the morning, so I will take advantage of them. Royal Caribbean up 1% now. Yeah, so here we go. I am buying more NVIDIA right here. If I get in fast enough, I've got a pretty fast machine here, but as I told everybody, I bought a really big machine. Yeah, there we go. See what I mean? That's what I mean, folks. That's it, right? You saw it right there. Retail couldn't get out, so they sold on the open because they don't know what to do. And if they just held, they'd be higher than they were when they sold, right? And that's what happens. And look, institutions are selling into the retail, and the retail are buying the dip. And right there, you just took advantage of them, folks. You just took advantage of retail. And we're trying to make you a smarter company, smarter person, smarter trader. Unity Software now up 3%. If you're paying attention to me this morning, I told you about Unity Software, right? This is just what's going on. And I take advantage of it. You should take advantage of it too. That's what you do, right? You're listening, you're paying attention. You're not getting kicked out of the markets. RCL now up 1% of $2.50. Right. Yeah. All right. You see this massive selling bar. That's because the retail didn't know what to do this morning, right? They got out, tried to get out, couldn't get out because they can't get out in the mornings, right? They don't have those kind of accounts. And the trading is nonsense. And a lot of this has to do with, look at that bar on the other side of that. It's just stupid. People. It's okay though. We can take advantage of it. All right. Royal Caribbean up $2.50 now. There we go. CoreWeave flat on the day here. IBM under 230, under 240 here. Wow. Yeah. Well, I think right now it's really just about oil. What's oil doing, right? Because oil does affect prices, obviously. So yeah. Sure, my orders came in okay, and yes, and NVIDIA 169.32. So be buying a little bit more here. NVIDIA, just a wee bit more here. Need to have just a little bit more. And I will buy some more NVIDIA right here. I'm adding to my position here. Everybody knows here I don't go full boat on buying and selling. That's just stupid. Bitcoin 68,000 here still. Here we go. I bought a little bit more NVIDIA there on this slippage here. There it is. See the slippage there, and I like it. There you go. Palo Alto Networks. Talk about that this morning, up 4.5% now. Unity Software up 4%, and Royal Caribbean now up $6 here, $6.50 here now. I like it. CoreWeave slipping a little bit, just down about, and I'm going to buy a little bit CoreWeave here to add to my position here. Adding to my CoreWeave position here on this dip. I like this dip a lot. I like that dip a lot. Dow up about 400 points here. Q's dumping a little bit here as dollar pushing higher and oil now pushing higher. 102 now a barrel. And that's what's affecting it right now is this, unfortunately, is this war. Oh wow, dollar just jumped here, 100.44 here. That's really hurting international companies. I'm gonna take advantage of it though, because it will continue to do that. The U.S. Embassy in Venezuela is now being announced to be they're formally resuming operations on Monday here today. So that's good to see, Venezuela. But I think we actually own it. Microsoft. Okay, you're asking about Microsoft. Yeah, of course. Look, I don't like Microsoft. People ask me about Microsoft all the time. You know, look, I have an Xboxes, but I won't be buying another Xbox, right? And I just saw where the Sony PlayStation, the PlayStation 5, they added about $100 to it to cost. I get it. I understand what you're looking at in the charts. I get all that. But you still got to make money. And Microsoft is really not. I don't know anybody using Copilot right now. I just don't know anybody using Copilot. We're still seeing more selling here in the queues here. Again, take advantage of it, right? Take advantage of it. A little bit more selling going on here in the queues, but I like this. I'm taking advantage of this and picking some up. Looks like Kramer's talking now. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, he's talking about NVIDIA. Great. Great. Interesting here. I don't know, buying another bit of NVIDIA here. So I've now, and I think I'm done with my purchases of NVIDIA today. But I think I've made some pretty big buys here on NVIDIA. I like the selling here that's going on NVIDIA. Yeah. I like this a lot. We'll pull up a 3-minute chart. Yeah, I like the selling. The selling there was pretty strong. So I think and silly, you know, because let me tell you, I see the new NVIDIA chipsets. They're strong, and I know that major companies are having to buy to keep up with AI. They have to buy the NVIDIA chipsets. They don't have a choice. It's not like they can go to like the other NVIDIA chipset company, TSM maybe. But you got to go to NVIDIA, right? And I have just bought a dual NVIDIA chipset cards, so I understand. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. See this turnaround here? Yeah. Yeah, Bloomberg now posting, you know, Trump has regularly vacillated between saying a deal with Iran is close and warning the country he's prepared to up the military tempo. Yeah, you can't invest on those kind of comments, and I don't, right? Whatever he says, do the opposite. That's pretty much what's happening. So that's how I've invested, and it's paying off. Rubio now says, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, says Iran must stop manufacturing the drones and missiles seen in recent attacks. Okay, well, I mean, we're attacking them. I don't see how they're going to stop producing. So, tick down 538 right now. Dixie now 100.44 here as struggling there at the 150 handle there, but man, tick down 550 now. Right, still negative here. Cisco SYY. I think this morning, I believe Howard was talking about it. Down almost 13% here still, as costs are gone up for inflation in groceries. Yeah. Still seeing more selling in NVIDIA here. Is Q still selling off here? NASDAQ could go negative here. As the dollar now pushing even higher here now. Dollar just took off here, 100.50 once again. Well, WTI now also pushing higher, 102.49 here. Dollar yen now 159.50. I expected it to be over 160 again, but I didn't see that. All right, let's try this again as the sellers are now slowing down here a little bit. Seems like retail has chilled out a bit. Yeah, see, there you go. Mistral AI booked 14,000 NVIDIA chipsets, right? Those are expensive chips, right? That's a $500 million chips. You can't go anywhere else. AI has to use NVIDIA chipsets, and that's what I've been saying. Tick down 124 here as buyers are stepping up. Look at that. Tick just went positive. That's what I said. Hold up. Just chill out. Let them sell because they couldn't do it in the beginning and they didn't know what to do. Now they're turning it around. So I had a feeling that was going to happen. It's been what we've been talking about. You know, if you put these things together, these theses together, and it gives you a better feeling about understanding the markets, right? You saw me talk about this morning about how unhappy everybody is, and then the feeling of unhappiness and unease out there, and that's when you take advantage of it, right? It's mind-boggling to me the 35 years that I've been trading and I watch people. They'll go to the grocery store and they can't wait to buy a gallon of milk when it's cheap, and they complain when it's high. Well, you don't buy when it's high. You just don't buy the gallon of milk. Why can't people do that with stocks? You know, what is it the best stocks when they get cheap that they don't want to buy? They get nervous and they don't want to buy because, they can go lower. I mean, I've heard that silly adage for all my life. And usually those people are the ones who don't do well trading, right? And here you go. I've been watching NVIDIA. The thesis is still the same. It's AI. Unhappiness, you got to buy better. I mean, we talked about it this morning about Twitter, not liking Twitter because you got to upgrade to the pro version. And I got 2 pro versions, right? The business and personal. And, I took advantage of that, right? And here it is. So congrats if you're paying attention and not taken advantage of. I don't like the quarterly sell off here. It's a little much, to be honest with you. But Unity Software up 5% here. Yeah, all good this morning. SEO. I'm still short oil, folks. I'm not stopped that. I don't like the fact of the president. I don't like the fact of this war. It's silly. James is asking me, VIX and volume, something to watch here in the markets. If market weakness continues, at what level does volume become an issue for market makers? Depends on how quick it happens. Look, the truth is, the VIX and the volume, it's a very low level indicator for a lot of people, right? It's easy pickings. If you don't know what you're talking about when you talk about the volatility index, a lot of people, when I ask them about the volatility index, and I tell them, I don't know what to tell them, to say, hey, as an AI, explain the VIX to me and volume to me as if I'm a 5-year-old. Because if you can't explain it to me as if I'm a 5-year-old, I'm sure not going to be able to explain to you, from a PhD level, right? And so when I talk about the behind the scenes, the calculus behind the scenes of how volatility works, Well, how did it get to 15? How does it get to 30? Well, if you don't really understand that, then you really shouldn't be playing volatility. It is a place to, in a lot of ways, to protect your portfolio. It's a great hedge, right? But how do I know? How do I know? Well, if it's 30, yes. VIX and volatility surface, not volume. Sorry for confusion. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. Look, it's very simple. In a lot of ways, the VIX, the volatility index, is based on, the ups and the downs and the speed of the volume divided by volatility, right? But when you look at, for me, I don't just look at volatility in general. I want to know what's making them move, right? When they see those headlines come across, it's very simple. If you know the SIBO in Chicago, the pit, the S&P pit, is huge. Okay, if you ever get a chance to look at the S&P pit at SIBO, a lot of big pit, right? Where the bell is, the big SIBO board. When looking out, that's S&P. If you're looking towards the SIBO sign, if you look to the right, it's like nothing but it's like a big divider, right? And then the other side of that is the volatility index, and those guys are listening to those guys in the volatility index, going, are they getting excited? Are orders flying in? They don't care about retail orders on volatility. They don't make their money on that. They make their money on institutional trading of that side of it, right? Because they want to know, are they protecting their portfolio? And is what's getting them excited about that over the other side? And I watch that. I'm very clearly looking at that. Scott Bauer is a master of this, right? So you need to listen to what Scott's saying when he's there, right? And he's watching that pit, and he's saying, okay, look, this pit's getting excited. There's orders coming in. Well, which way are they buying? They're not. Usually when they get excited, they're not selling the freaking VIX, right? They're buying. They're selling puts, right? They're going crazy, and that's what I'm saying now. So right now, I don't see that. If you're using it as a hedge, great. There's other ways to hedge too, but you buy volatility when you can, not when you have to, as he always says, and it's the best advice ever for that. You don't buy insurance after the hurricane comes through. You buy insurance when there's no hurricanes, right? You can play the game if you want and hope the hurricane doesn't come, but a hurricane's gonna come, right? Yeah. We're watching WTI still pushing against it and the dollar pushing against it. So you got too many headwinds here, and this is not headwind day, right, for us. I'm sitting back going, you know what? I'm okay with this. I know that things are being bought, right? NVIDIA chipsets are being bought, so I'm going to continue to buy NVIDIA, especially when it's down. Why? I look at NVIDIA, I'm going to look at a monthly chart. Why? Because guess what? It's been beaten up. There's a monthly chart. You know what happens, right? It pulls back, and then it goes back on up and marches right back on up. We know which direction it's going. They're just telling you. I'm using a very low level linear regression to help you, right? Choppiness index telling you very low level. But they're selling, there's some selling up there, and understandable. People don't know what's going to happen because AI is dead, right? No, it ain't dead, and it's going to continue to push back up. So that's why I talked about this earlier, right? What is it about people that they don't like buying things when it's cheap? Oh, because it can get cheaper. Okay. Heard that all my life too, right? Things can get cheaper. Yes, they can. Oh, well, I'm going to wait till my chart turns around. I'm going to wait till this happens. I'm going to wait until, I don't know, chickens come to roost. That's not what I'm looking for as an investor, as a trader. I'm looking for opportunity. And opportunity is happening right in front of our face. Sometimes we just don't know how to see it. And this is how I see it. I see the markets pretty clearly right now. Places I don't want to invest unless I think that there's something good here, right? Unity Software now 5%, right? They told you what was happening. They raised your guidance. Why was the stock at 17? Now it's at 20, right? Why? Because they told you what was going on. They told you, hey, we actually are selling. Okay, now look at your charts. 1, 2, 3, 4 buys, right? Those higher lows. Why? Well, what's going on? How do I know where to look? There's a big gap. We know back to 40. We know that, right? We know where the buyers are. So that's why I liked it. Nothing here is throwing me off yet. Again, for a lot of this, it's just me sitting on my hands and waiting for something to happen. But taking advantage of NVIDIA all morning long has been right on. There's CRISPR. One of the things that I liked CRISPR is I've talked about that for a while now. I think they've got something probably going to happen here soon. FedEx, you know, there's even with the headwinds, Royal Caribbean still up $3, even all the headwinds, even with tick down 250, right? You oil up, Royal Caribbean's up. Why? Because people are still going on cruises because they're unhappy. That's my thesis. People aren't happy. Now, what makes people happy? Booze makes people happy. What makes people happy? New cars make people happy, but they can't afford them, right? So what kind of car are they going to buy? Well, they don't want to buy cars. I heard this all day long. Got picked up at the airport. A normal driver normally drives a car with a gas. It's got a Tesla. Picks me up at a Tesla. Why? Because gasoline prices are going up. Doesn't like it. That's what happens, folks. I talk about this all the time. When oil prices go up, people go, you know what? I don't need to pay for it. I've got a hybrid. I haven't gone to the gas station in so long. I don't even know how to go to the gas station. Probably forgot how to even pump the gas, right? That's what I'm saying to people, right? Is have a thesis. Think about the world that you live in. What is it that people are buying? What are they doing right now? Right? We talked about that. They went and played baseball, watching sports. The March Madness was big. It's over the weekend. The biggest viewing I've seen in a long time. That's what they're doing. They're unhappy. War stocks. War stocks are up. We can look at RTX, Raytheon, right? We can look at LMT, right? Here's Raytheon. Here's LMT. Right? Boom. All the way up this morning, all the way down. Right? They don't know what to do. Uranium Energy Corporation. We talked about that one. Here's a daily chart. UEC. We know uranium is needed. But if they steal uranium from Iran, take it, then we may not need as much, right? So that's why that was a thesis. But there's now you can look at your charts, right? There's UEC. It's telling you. This would be coal, right? There you go. There you go. Ultra short there in natural gas. That gas has been running hard. Look at UNG for those of you who do trade the ETF there. UNG. Nat gas has been on the run, a tear, but not anymore, right? Flip monthly chart of UNG. There you go. Yeah. No. UNG pretty much goes one way down. All right, we've seen a little bit of selling here in NVIDIA. We're hearing now reports from CBS that hundreds of U.S. Special Ops military personnel, Navy SEALs, now going into the Middle East. Looks like they have a very specific. You don't send in the Army Rangers. There you go. These are the bad boys coming in, the SEALs and the Rangers, Marines, and Army paratroopers. So it's like they're going to take over the Karg Island there. That's kind of what my thought process behind here. I think Karg is probably going to be under siege here soon. Hey Jay, what are you laughing about, my man? We're hearing reports that Jerome Powell is in moderated discussions at Harvard University today. Yeah, makes sense. NVIDIA slipping a little bit here near the lows of the day. Now in the lows of the day. And I said earlier today, I expected NASDAQ to go red a little bit here. And NASDAQ did go red here. Qs are now red now. Today. 4 minutes now at the top of the hour. Is that changing my thought process on NVIDIA? Absolutely not. 100% no way. It changed my mind on anything else that I've done today? No way. Nothing has changed. Anybody else have anything else out there that you want me to look at? I'm happy to look at today, but look, don't go chasing the markets, folks. Just don't go chasing the markets today. I'm giving advice I don't normally give. This is not a day to go trade. This is a day to sit back and watch a little bit. Unity software up now up 6%. Look, just don't be careful out there, folks. Okay, this is not that day you want to go out there and try to make $1 or $1. This is one that you want to just kind of say, okay, you know what? Let's let this market play itself out a little bit. And if you don't, you need to trade something. I understand. I know that feeling inside of you, but just be careful. Okay, this is not that day. Not to me, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Oh, but what about gold? And gold's down today, right? Well, what about it's down, right? And we've talked about this, right? Calcium poly market now being banned in certain states now. I see calcium and poly market getting banned in a lot of places. They may not even be companies anymore in the future, folks. I've said that many times that I look at those kind of companies and I'm not a big fan of it, right? I like it. I like the data. It's cool, right? But I don't want to see people losing money all the time. It really bothers me. Yeah. The pound to the yen is getting slammed right now. XTI 99.66 now. FedEx now somewhat here now, about to go red here a little bit. That's probably due to all this oil pushing up here. Yeah. Tick just went positive here. I haven't looked at the advanced decline line in a long time. Again, another reason why. Same situation, right? We already know which way the directions of market are. Nasdaq's barely negative and the Dow's barely positive. People just don't know what to do right now. They're very confused, very angry. It's an electorate out there. We know what's going to happen in November, folks. It's going to be a bloodbath for Republicans. So we know that now. We need to focus on that. That's I think what's happening right now in the markets. We're seeing a little bit of that right now. People are not happy that it's a very unpopular war. We have a situation now with Fed speak here now. Oh, inflation. Oh, this. Oh, that. Powell. We don't know what Powell's going to say because it's become political. It's a mess, right? Oh, well, in chaos, there's opportunity. Okay. There's opportunity everywhere, right? I mean, that's just silly adages. What you want to think about is how do you take advantage of that? And in this situation, I still think the situation's the same. You got to have NVIDIA chipsets. That's why I'm buying NVIDIA. People are upset. They want to go on cruises. That thesis has been in my head and it's still working. AI's people are just buying as much as they can. Data centers are going everywhere. Unity Software up almost 6% here, folks. And nothing has really happened here in NVIDIA. I mean, we really haven't seen much sell-off here. Okay, people are taking advantage of it. Great. Let's pull the 3-hour chart and see where we are. Right, I get it. We're at the bottom of the day here. I understand that, but honestly, I don't see much more here. The Dow, we're about to could go positive here now on the Nasdaq. Goldman Sachs, according to Unusual Wealth, says that investors are overestimating the likelihood of a Fed rate hike. I agree. They're not going to hike. I mean, that's just silliness. They're not going to hike. But what are they going to do? Probably really nothing. I think that's what. There you go. I don't think that's the case, right? I don't think they're going to hike. And if you're investing based on the fact you think the Fed's going to hike, yeah. Fed's Moran now says inflation expectations not yet affected by higher oil prices. So they've not yet impacted inflation expectations either. No evidence of wage price spiral seems extremely unlikely. So, wow. Really? Oil hasn't really affected it? I disagree, my man. No, I think that oil has definitely affected prices. Maybe he needs a copy of Quasar Markets here. I'm happy to do that. All right, folks, top of the hour here now, 10 o'clock, and here we go. So I know there's something that you guys all wanted. I know you want a trading day, and we didn't really see that today, and that's okay. It happens, right? These are the days that I watch and I make positions, right? And I did that on Friday, and I'm doing it again here. And nothing has changed in my mind, and nothing has really moved. So, all right, for those, keep your eye out today. We have a lot of guests today. I'm excited about some of the guests today. And all right, and of course, QuasarMarkets.com, the new site's up and running. Give us a shout out, sign up for it. We're working on 20,000 new modules now. Now that the machine is built, now we get to go. Now we get to build those modules we've always wanted to build, and things that you've never seen before out there in the public. We're working on those. Should be done pretty soon. That's right, Zora. I will see you bye for now, and we'll see you a little bit later. All right, folks.